Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Vijay and we are learning Python with our Python Mastery series. Till now we have seen multiple things related to the Python foundation, and then we slowly and gradually moved to the Python functions, and we learned how to have additional parameters and arguments using args, KW args, all of that things. A lot of the things that we are now capable of building mini projects along with the concepts that we learn. But one thing that we haven't tried till now is every variable accessible in every function. Like let's say I define a variable outside a function. I try to update inside a function. Will I be able to do that? Or any variable that I define inside the function, when I call the function, at that time if I try to directly print that rather than calling the function, I try to print that variable, will Python allow me? So what are the like scope of that variable? What are the boundary limits, that how till which limit we can use that variable, and how much Python allows us? That we haven't tried till now. And believe me, that is a very practical use case that we will encounter in development side. Like let's say if we talk about our code cafe theme only, we have a sales variable. We are measuring our daily sales, and customer wise we are collecting the bills, and we try to update that sales variable. So we cannot define in the a function, because that function will reset the value again and again whenever a new customer comes in. So we have to define that sales variable outside the function, and when we try to update inside our function, does Python allow that? For example, there are three customers. Vijay has 500 bill, Rahul has 300 bill, and Neha has 200 bill. So all of that combined to 1000 rupees bill of a code cafe on one single day. So will I be able to calculate that 1000 with the help of function if I try to implement all of that? That we are going to see today. Because variable scope is a very important concept. It's very small, but it's very important to understand theoretically, so that practical implementation becomes very easy for us whenever we are trying to declare the variable. What is a global variable, what is a local variable, all of that things seems confusing, but not that much. Once you implement that, it seems very easy to you. So let's jump to our blackboard to start with our theory part. Okay, so if we start with the theory part, let's say we want to have a oops if I start with, there are two types of variable, local and global. Okay, we will start with the local one. So it is always inside the function. And let me make it a little extended so we can fit all the things in one line. Then we have sorry, we have scope is, don't worry, I will explain that things. Mhm. Only inside the function. Okay, and what about the global one? The global is defined outside, or declared, I would say, outside the, oops, I can write that. Okay, then we have the scope. We can access from, we can access it everywhere. Okay, so this is regarding the definition or declaration. When we define any variable like uh, customer is equal to Vijay, or bill amount is equal to 500, that all is the declaration part. So that we can do inside the function for local variable. And for global, it is outside the function. Before even starting def calculate bill, something like that, before that we will do this global function. Okay, now what is the scope, where at which boundary still we can use this function, oh sorry, this variable. So local variable we can use only inside the function under which we have declared. Like let's say the bill amount, if we have declared it under the bill calculate bill function, we can only use under that. We cannot use outside of that one. Whenever we try to use that, Python will give you a alert error that sorry, you are not allowed to use that, because the scope is limited, that you are only allowed to make a usage under that function only. And global variable, global we can use outside anywhere. There is a catch inside that also, that how we can use that. It's not directly that you start using and Python will allow you, but yes, the possibility exists that you can use that. And the declaration is also outside the function, so that makes it global. So now let's go and have a quick VS Code implementation of all of this thing. Okay, so we will start with our local variable. Okay, so let's say I create a function with message equal to welcome. Okay, I defined a variable with value welcome, and I try to print that. Okay, and now if I run the greet, okay, I'm calling the function greet, and when I try, it is able to print it without any errors. This is normal thing that we have studied till now. So here we are defining or declaring the variable inside the function, so it's a local variable. Okay, now this we understand very well, because we haven't made any change to our logic. Whatever we have been doing till now, we are doing that only. So now if I go and have that, let's say I copy the same thing. Okay, and along with that I add one line extra. I try to directly print the message, sorry, not welcome, message. If I try to print that, you can see the name error. It is not able to access that. Message is not defined because the limitation is only till this function for the message. The scope is defined. The local variable cannot be accessed outside this one. Okay, this part I guess is now clear, that we can define the local variable inside a function and we can access that inside the function only. Now moving to the global one, global variable. Okay, now let's say I am uh, defining the cafe name. Okay, so cafe name will be same throughout the code, because we have a general code cafe that we are keeping. So wherever we need to print, we do not again and again need to define it. We will define it as a global one. Okay, global variable. Okay, and now let's say I am defining a function display, and if I try to print cafe name. Okay, and let's say I call this function. Okay, so what we have done, we have defined a global variable, we have used that variable, printing of that variable in a function, and then we are calling that function. So here you can see, without any issues, without anything, although it is defined outside, it is allowed to use inside the function. Okay, but l- I told you that there is one catch that is required, so I want to show you that scenario. So let's say the example that we talked about, updating the sales. Okay, we have a sales equal to 0 and we want to update our sales. Okay, this was just printing the global variable. Okay, now here we are modifying the global variable. So let's say I want to have a added of let's say 200. Okay, sorry, 200. Okay, sales value I want to add whenever a update sales function is called. Okay, so now this we have done, and we try to call the update sales variable. Okay, and we try to print the sales. Okay, now if I try this, I'm trying to modify the global variable, so Python does not allow, we cannot access the local variable cells where it is not associated with, okay, with a value. So here it is trying to find inside only, but before using it, if I define it with a global keyword and then sales, it will understand. Python will get a definition that okay, we have to pull the sales variable from the global side, not on the local. It is right now trying to search in the local only. So if I try to print, now you can see it is updated. Let's say I make it 500 and then I try to, it should be 700. It will allow only whenever we have this global keyword and the global variable name after that. So this is required whenever you are trying to modify the global variable. So this is very important. So this was the catch that I was talking about. Python allows, but this additional line has to be added inside that. Okay. And now let's try to use the global and local variable together. So we get an idea that how the scope works exactly. So let's say I have a customer, Vijay, that is a global one. Okay. Global variable. Now I create a function, define order, then I try to have a customer that is Rahul, then I try to print the customer name. Okay, okay. Let me do one thing. Let me have a f string so that we get an idea inside the function that we are printing this one. Okay, this is just to identify is it printing from the internal local variable or from the global variable. Okay, then we have what else we can do. We can now call the function order. Okay, after calling, ideally it should print, and let's also try to print directly also, because now we have the, let me print using the outside function notation so that we can get an idea what is printing from inside the function, what is printing from outside. Okay, if I try to run this now, you can see whenever the local variable is existing, it will try to print from the inside the function. First it will try to search here. Okay, if it finds, it will try to print that only. And whenever we are trying to access that same variable from outside the function, here it will go for the global search and it will find a global variable. So I guess this is very clear now that there are two variables, local and the global. Local is initialized and having the scope inside the function only. Global is declared outside the function and having the scope everywhere. Okay, so that is how this global and local variable works. Now let's do a mini project. So we are doing a wonderful thing in this series that whatever we are learning, we are implementing it in the form of a mini project. Each and every concept, even it is small or big, we are trying to implement a mini project, and combining all the concept also we are doing a little big project in between, like we did a mini project of billing system that also combined 3 4 concept. So that also we are doing. So this will uh, give us a more confidence, because when upcoming time AI is writing the code, the only thing that you can learn is how you understand the code in more depth, so you can take the control of that. Whatever AI is writing, you should not go with just flow that AI is writing the correct thing. If you understand the flow, it will give you more clarity in the upcoming after this series, because Python is kind of a foundational thing. Once we complete that, whatever the series I will bring, I will also make the use of AI also in that. So how AI writes the code, how we can control what the AI is writing, that all the things also we will be seeing in the upcoming videos. So that will give us a more clarity that how we are trying to uh, cop up with the real world programming, not just we are building. And the main thing is whatever you are learning the foundational, always try to implement with yourself by building it, not just learning the theory part. Okay, so this small project, mini projects in every video will give you an confidence that you are capable of building something, whatever you have learned, whatever the concept you studied in theory, how it performs in the real world. Okay, so today we are going to build a daily sales tracker, so that we like understood the problem definition at the starting of the video itself, that we want to update our daily sales. So we should have a sales variable as a global, and then we will try to update it whatever the function as per the specific each customer bill amount will be. Okay, so we will define a total sales variable. This will be a global variable. Okay, now we will try to define a add bill. Okay, and then oops, I guess I made some typo. Okay, now what we are trying to do, we are trying to add the bill, and that will be with the customer name we will take is the input, and what else we can take, we can take the amount also. Okay, and then what we will do, we will try to update the sales amount, but to update modify, we have seen that we have to define it as global sales, that we will update. And what we will do, we will print f string. This we have done multiple times, that we will print the customer name using the formatted string. Then we will print the bill amount. Okay, this we will be printing as the amount variable. Okay, then what we will try to do, we will try to have a sales variable updated, so whatever the bill will be, that we will be adding. Okay, oops, that should be amount, not bill. Okay, amount is the actual variable. Okay, we will try to do this, and at final whatever the customers of two or three customers per day will be there, we will be printing the total bill also after they are done with their bills. Okay, so let's call add bill. Let me call first customer Vijay. He has a 500 bill. Then we have add bill of Rahul, and he has a 300 bill. Then we have add bill of Neha. She has 200 bill. Okay, this we can take like from the user also, using the input function and everything, all of that, that we have done multiple times. So I guess that should not be a problem for you. Then we will start printing the mm, what we can print. We can print the total sales, and okay, we can have a message also, a thank you message, or not thank you, but slash and today's sales summary. Okay, this way we can just want to little bit beautification part we can do here, and total sales will be pulled from a total sales variable. We can access direct because it's a global variable, and we can modify here in the function using this global keyword. So quite simple, whatever we have studied in the theory part, we are implementing it. Declaration of global variable, inside that we are using with the keyword global to modify, taking the customer and bill amount, whatever the amount we are doing, adding to the, here we have made the mistake. Okay, we are adding it to the total sales. Okay, so now let's run that. So here you can see customer Vijay, bill amount 500, Rahul, bill 300, Neha, bill 200, and today's sales summary, total sales is 1000. So in this way we can track the day wise whatever the total sales we are doing, and this global variable is allowing to keep a track of that, whatever the function is called multiple times, but this allows us that okay, you can modify that global function. So I guess we have studied in depth the local and the global. Let's just recap once. The local variable defined inside the function, scope is also inside the function, global variable declared outside the function. Scope you can access everywhere, just with a catch that you need to use the global and the variable global variable name to modify that one. Okay, so let's come to the main screen. Okay, I guess this will clarify your concept regarding the variable global and local. In the upcoming videos, we will be seeing more things related to the functions, like we are keeping on creating the functions and everything in one file. So how we can modularize the code. Like let's say we have a bill department and we have a menu department, all of that we are keeping in one file. And as the code will increase, that will be become difficult for us to manage that thing. Do the real world developer do that, keeping all the things in one file? No. What they do, they create the modules, and accordingly they will manage all the things. So in future also, let's say you created a billing related functions, you can also use that in another, let's say not code files. Tomorrow code restaurant is started, you can use the billing part there also, or menu part there also, because that is modularized. So, and managing even in the code cafe project also, it will help to modularize and manage everything easily. So that we will be looking in the upcoming videos. I hope you are liking this series. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you have any questions, feel free to put up that in the comments. I will see you in the next video. Till then, happy coding.